Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Max Pounder Battle Reports. This time we're going to do a list review and predictions for an upcoming tournament we're going to, which is in Leeds in the UK. And yeah, that's it. So without further ado, let's start. So the first table is going to be Tony Swallow of the Vampire Covenant and Marshall Trowell of Vermin Swarm, or Vermin Swarm of Marshall Trowell, whichever way you want it. So we'll go through Tony's list first. So basically he's got a Gilly Vampire count on a skeletal steed with a 1-up. He's got the +1 strength and attack for each character in base to base with the unit. He's got Potion of Swissness, which is an interesting choice. I would have preferred strength personally. A Lucky Shield, Eternal Ring, which is plate armor, and a 2-up ward against the first wound taken. Or a 2-up ward against first wound taken, and also stops him being lethal strike. So, you know, very killy vampire. He's got a level 4 necromancy also on a steed. So obviously these two, if you could guess it, are going to go into a big unit Baronites. And that's pretty much his list. He's running a Book of Arcane Powers Necromancer Lord for +1 to cast. So I'm thinking that his list is basically those two characters in the Baronites and just spamming invocations and stuff just to keep those alive with the +3 to cast. I'm sure he can 3 dice spells and then use the attribute to heal the Baronites, because everything else is not worth any points. I mean, he's got 15 drops. You know, look at 60 points, 75 points, 75 points. The only other thing that's worth any points is the 4 Vampire Spawn, which are obviously quite good because they're vampiric, so they can march by themselves, and also fly 9 very quick. So they're gonna, you know, pose threats to smaller things, and because he can obviously out deploy you, I doubt he's ever going to go first with this list. There's no point dropping everything because he's got so many drops. He can always deploy his bus where he needs it. Where he's going to struggle is against rank and file, or anybody who's got a fighter unit that has got no characters in, because then his vampire count's only got 5 strength 5 attacks. It's not great, even hitting on 2s, which I think, does he get lightning reflexes with Brotherhood of the Dragon Bloodline? Well, we'll say he does. So he hits on 2s, and then say against a fighty ogre unit like Merc Vets, he then wins on 3s, and then he's going to get extra attacks from that, but he might get 2-3 extra attacks from then again, and it goes down. So he might kill 1, and then that ogre unit's just going to smash those Baronites and pop him through combat res. So he's going to be very careful what he goes into, but I think that's why he's got so many units here that he can give up points, because if he doesn't want to engage you, he can just chaff and chaff and chaff. And so I think this is very much a tournament list, in that when he knows he can get the win, he'll go for it. When he can't get the win, he'll just slow you down and play for the draw. So on the opposite side of the spectrum, we've got the Vermin Swarm. Also, quickly apologise for my voice, I've got tonsillitis at the moment, but I wanted to get this video out. So he's running Doom Bell, Cheap Chief, BSB, 2 Rakachik Machinists, 3 big blocks of Rat of Arms, and then A-Bomb, 2 Dreadmills, and then some shooting to complement that. I'm not too sure about this list, to be honest. Obviously the A-Bomb's good, he's got quite a bit of shooting, but there's nothing really that fighty. For his core, I would have preferred some Storm Vermin in there, to be honest. I just don't think Rat of Arms do much and die really quickly. He's also not got much chaff, so anything that he wants to slow down, he can't really. Obviously, he can throw the Rat of Arms forward and hope that he can just reduce people's Death Stars with all the shooting. But I think he's going to struggle against you know, things that can deal with the A-Bomb and the Dreadmill. What else has he got? So definitely in this first round, I think Tony Swallow's Vampire Covenant will have it, unless if they just get stuck in those rats, and then you know, how many rounds of combat in 6 turns is 12 turns of combat. If he's in combat by turn 2, can he chew through all those 3 big rat swarms? Which is what I would, you know, if I was Marshall, that's where I'd be trying to slow them down, because if you can slow down those Baronite bus, you can take care of the rest. So I still think Tony Swallow will have it because he'll be able to out deploy him. If not, then yeah, it could go either way. This one depends on player skill, I think, but I think the Vampire Covenant is the better list. So for the next pair, we've got Phil Sanderson, who's running Demon Legions, and also Tim Ross, who's running Silver Nails. So we'll go through the Demon first. He's brought a Father of Pestilence, love the choice. I'm a big fan of big monsters. Coming in at 635 points, that's a lot of points in one thing. Obviously he's got the 4 regen. I'm not quite sure what Heartseeker and Horn Dalmatian do. I read them last night, I can't remember. But basically he's toughness 7, 7 wounds, 4 regen. Level 2 was a Path of Disease as well, which isn't, it's not my favourite path, but for a combat army it's really good. Then he's obviously winning Harbinger, BSB. Then he's got 2 units of 24 Tallyman, 6 Pestilent Beasts, and then some Blightflies and 3 Plaguelings. Everything's poisoned in this list. And obviously with everything being Mark of Disease, what do we call it? The Mark of Pestilence. Obviously -1 to hit. I like it. I think some lists will really struggle against it, i.e. mine. So Monster Mash will struggle against it because there's just so much all the contamination and poison. The Blightflies are hard to get rid of with toughness 5. The Pestilent Beasts are hard to get rid of with toughness 5. The Father of Pestilence is hard to get rid of. Where it's going to struggle is against MSU, because there's not anything particularly fast apart from Blightflies in here. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, Tim Ross's Sylvan Elves is very much MSU. If you look at it, it's got a Wild Hunter on a Great Elk, a Tree Father, a BSB, Heavens, Archers, Dryads, Heath Riders, Blade Dancers, Wild Huntsmen, Kestrel Knights, Sylvaneth Sentinels, Briar-Maidens, and an Eagle. So again, this is a matchup I think depends on player skill. I think if a Demon Legion's players is used to playing against MSU and knows how to deal with it, because in the Sylvan Elves list here, there's nothing that can take on the Father of Pestilence. There's nothing that can probably take on the 24 Tallyman, to be honest, unless there's combo charges. And even then, I would be a bit worried about that. He does have a lot of poison shooting, so that will help against whether Father of Pestilence or the Plaguelings or the Pestilent Beasts or the Blightflies. But I think if the Demon Legion player knows how to deploy, for example with his Tallyman, keep them 12 ride to obviously give him a board control. Same with the 50-man Tallyman, I'd be tempted to do them one way, because you're not going to break and you're there just to shepherd them into a corner where you want. So again, player skill, I think the Sylvan Elves player might have it because he's taken a very unconventional list, which might mean that he's relying on his skill to make up for it. So because there's some odd choices though here, like yeah, the Forest Prince, I just think you're better off getting a I think the one on foot, but I've never seen this build before with the Great Elk, certainly not without the not the Bluffer's Helm, the Fireblight Pendant, which stops people getting strength bonuses. But yeah, I think it looks like a list which for some of all parts an experienced player will use it. So we'll go for the Sylvan Elves player for this one. So pair up 3, we've got an Emperor of Sanstol versus Ogre Khans. So we'll actually start with the Ogre Khans list because it's much more simpler. Basically, he's got 4 huge blocks, 2 made of 8 ogres, 2 tribesmen with all the trimmings, and then Merc Vets with the poisoned attacks and ogre pistols, and then, which seem every ogre player seems to be taken now, and 8 Merc Vets with Swift Stride, Iron Fist, and Vanguard. So you obviously got your shooting Merc Vets and then your very powerful Merc Vets, and then he's running all his characters naked, which I think is well, it is what it is. Yeah, take out that BSB, you've got a lot of things there that have, you know, very, very easily panicked off the board or anything like that. However, I'm guessing his Great Khan and BSB are going to go into that big Merc Vet thing. What worries me about this list is he has no chaff. And so if we look at if he comes up against Tony Swallow's Vampire Covenant list, for example, he's going to take him a long time to chew through those 40-60 points units, and then Tony, you can pick on the the 8 tribesmen, and the 8 tribesmen, by and large ignore the Merc Vets and go for those other points there, and then it's sort of an arms rest of who can get the most points out of each of his weaker stuff. But he'd certainly struggle against anything that can chaff, anything with a lot of movement. It's very much a push forward army list, very aggressive. I don't know how it's going to do, because if we look at the Empire Sun stuff list he's playing, He's playing with 3 big infantry blocks, a big block of knightly orders. He's got obviously the 30 flagellants, 2 cannons, and a prelate. It's interesting that he's not got any other magic apart from the prelate, which fair play to him. To be fair, those bounce spells are so good anyway, because it doesn't matter if you miscast, you can just you're bound to get one off, and they're all very useful. Yeah, who wins this one? I would think the Empire Shanstar will win this one. He's got, obviously, the cannons can take off a Merc Vet 1 a turn. So the great swords will because of the tribesmen and stuff like that. Yeah, they hit them 1/4 because of parry, but they're gonna have rerolls from hatred, and I think the Ogre Khan's player just hasn't got enough to really board control here. But then at the same time, I don't think the Empire Shot, he's only really got the Writers and the State Militia for chaff as well, so it'll be interesting. I would think the Empire of Shanstar player would have this one, just because I'm worried about the lack of chaff. At the same time, if he doesn't deploy correctly, he'll just going to get over-swamped. Okay, pair number 4. So we've got Matthew Pell, Warriors of Dark Gods, versus Darren William of the Highborn Elves. So the Highborn Elves basically is running a Knights of Rhymer bus with just a Prince in. Yeah, because his BSB doesn't have a... I think it's very odd not to have your BSB in there as well, unless I'm missing something, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't got oh no, maybe he just hasn't... Maybe he comes with a horse? It would be very odd not to have your BSB and a High Prince in the same in your big combat block. In terms of a list, if you can deal with the Knights, which aren't that hard to deal with, you can deal with everything else. Lion Chariots are good, but again, you can deal with them. 7 Sword Masters, I guess, is a speed bump unit or a flanking unit. You can use them as. The reason why I wouldn't take them is because you don't want a movement 10 flanking unit, because it's going to still be very difficult to get them into position to flank. Certainly when he's not really relying, when he's got the 29 Citizen Spears, so he might be that might be what he's relying on them for. Steadfast, but nothing else really will hold in a fight and allow. I mean, the 20 Flame Warders again will hold in a fight, and I guess maybe that's where he's put his BSB and then use the Sword Masters for flanking or for just as a speed bump to weaken down whatever he doesn't want to fight. Yeah, it's very much a mixed arms thing. The problem about a list like this, I don't think it has enough punch in any one thing to really bother anyone. It's very much a sum of the parts. So I think it will come down to player skill. On the hand, there's the Warrior of the Dark Gods list. We've got here Matthew's running a Lord of Chaos, who's just 1 up, 4 up, I believe. Mark of Change to give him divine attacks, strength 7, 5 attacks, strength 7, divine attacks, flame attacks, whatever you want. He's pretty fighty. He can do well. Normal BSB, a level 2 with Dispel Scroll, 23 Wastelanders at Mark of Change, which I thought was an interesting choice. But I'm guessing that's because that's where he wants to put his Lord of Chaos. Oh no, I would have thought he would have wanted it in the Chosen. I guess he wanted the choice of whether to put in Wasteland Warriors or the Chosen, because I would have preferred Wasteland Warriors with Wrath or Pestilence. Basically, I think that works much better on them, but there's no point in taking Lust on them, obviously. But I'm guessing if he needs to put his Lord in there, that's where he wants him. 5 Fallen, 5 Warriors, 5 Barbarian Horsemen, all good for chaff, all quick, fantastic. Always good choice. 3 Dragon Centaurs is a good choice. 16 Chosen. Again, Mark of Change, Halberds. I think it's because he wants the... Oh no, he's got full command, so he gets the wizard for them. So that's not a bad choice. I would have liked more bodies in there, because I think when they've got Mark of Change, they don't have the better damage output. But he's running double Hellscream cannon, so I'm guessing he's going to whittle down anything he wants to engage with those Chosen. And obviously the Battle Shrine will give them a hard target, so it'll stop them being shot as much. But even so, anybody who's got some templates, knock off a couple of those Chosen. Well, if you kill 4 with shooting, say, they're down to 12, and even with the Fighter Chaos Lord, it becomes a bit more risky to throw them into things. So I would have put more bodies in there, and well, or I would have dropped them down to 10 because I like them as lust. But I think in this list, I think it works well. He's got everything he needs to. So his Lord of Chaos will deal with fighter characters. He's got Helmsoon Cannon to deal with hordes. He's got the Battle Shrine to give him a bit of defensive capabilities. He's got the Dragon Centaurs with great weapons to attack steam tanks and stuff like that. So it's quite good. You handle a lot. My biggest worry with this is he's not very quick. The fastest thing he's got was Dragon Centaurs, which are movement 7. But obviously with a double Hellscream cannon, that's maybe not such a bad thing. But certainly he's got to be very careful where he positions things, because he will get outmaneuvered. But being a Warriors of Chaos God, Dark Gods, I'm sure he's very adept at doing that. But I would give this to Warriors of Dark Gods because I don't feel the Highborn Elves has enough shooting or enough combat or enough of one thing to really go toe-to-toe with this Warriors list. So the next matchup is Warriors of Dark Gods versus Highborn Elves again. So we'll go through the Warriors list. He's got a Manticore 2-up, 4-up, Soul Reaper, so he gets back a wound and 4+. He's got a BSB. Oh, this is the Wrath one actually. So this is running no magic, just a Wrath Priest who obviously can dispel as a Wizard Master. He's got a Barbarian Chief, which is probably going to go in his Barbarians to ambush, or Vanguard, whichever one he wants, or whichever he needs, so it's good. He's got a Blood Beast, which I don't think they're worth the points. I think for 150 points, I'd be tempted to take one, because really they've only got 5 plus Frenzy, so 6 attacks. Well, they strength 6, toughness 5, 5 wounds and a 4-up save. It doesn't really do anything. Like, he's going to have weapon skill 8 from the Lord of Chaos, so he's hitting most things on freeze, but a lot of infantry will grind him down, but his doesn't have high enough strength to really take on other monsters, so he's one of those choices. You could use, it depends how you use him. You've got to be careful with his matchups, basically. But he's got his 2/5 war hands for chaff. He's got Dragon Centaurs again with great weapons, which I think are a good choice for really good against 1-up cav. I would have put a champ in there because a champ just gives you that extra attack and extra weapon skill, and it's basically like having a character with like 4 or 5 strength 7 attacks. It's not bad with 4 wounds. He's got an Elder Dragon Centaur with halberd and light armor. I prefer them with paired weapons, but halberd's good. It gives you another strength 7, and then 3 Cushion Knights are always good. I really like this list because it's almost slightly MSU. He's got a fast threat from the Manticore. He's got a fast threat from the Elder. It's very much he hasn't got anything that can really break steadfast, but he doesn't need to because he can just combo charge, and he's got a lot of tough units that are difficult to get rid of, basically. So I like it. It's very good. The Highborn Elves list in comparison, he's got a level 4 on Path of Fire, then he's got a sloop guy, someone with shooting, another girl with shooting, some archers, bows, horses for, I'm guessing the lancers are just for objective taken, 3 units of 10 Lion Guard, 2 eagles, 2 repeater sharps, and 2 sky sloops. Again, I really like this list. Again, he's got the 3 sky sloops which can fly around. He's got enough shooting to whittle down anything that he doesn't want to fight until then he can combo charge or try to get charge off with the lines and the line guards and the sky sloops. Also, nothing in this list really gives up a lot of points, so it's very much a mirror match because they've both got a lot of drops, a lot of points in different ways. I kind of feel like the Highborn Elves will have this purely for the fact that he's got 3 units of Lion Guard, which obviously do multiple wounds against monstrous stuff, and there's a lot of monstrous stuff in the Warrior of the Dark God list, and he's also got a lot of bolt throwers, which obviously again a good counter to the Manticore, for example. So that's why I go for the Highborn Elves. If the Warriors of Dark God player can where he hasn't got any magic to whittle down those Lion Guard, because they're going to be a real pain, and the only thing you can really send into them, I could get nothing really, because the strength 6, multiple wounds 2 on all. Let's look at this. So against his Dragon Centaurs, against his Blood Beast, against his Once Chosen, against his Dragon Centaur, against his Crush Knight, and against his Manticore. So the only thing that doesn't do multiple wounds is the Barbarians and the Wasteland Warriors, and they're still going to go before them. So I think Highborn Elves will have this. I'm sorry, Kevin. So the final matchup for this video is a Vampire Covenant versus Dwarven Holds. So the VC list here, it's very similar to, if anybody was a fan of the Skaven and Aziz videos, he was running a very similar list back in 8th, which is based around big blocks of zombies. Everything's geared up to bring them back, and then he's got fast hitting units around that. So that's where your Winged Reapers come in with their lethal strike and 5 attack strength 5. Your Varkalax, which can fly wherever they want, with Vampire Swarm as well. Obviously, it's also included with Phantom Host to hold up anything that doesn't have magical attacks, things like this. So it's by and largely, yeah, it does work. It surprisingly works surprisingly well compared to on paper, where you look at it, you go, oh, there's not much which can hit. I mean, the Varkalax and Wing Reapers will have to do some heavy lifting, but a lot of things won't be able to deal with pace and speed, and the alternatives is start to go into zombies, and he doesn't care if you kill 30 of them, because he can bring them back quite easily. So yeah, it's a good list. Craig's list in comparison, if anyone doesn't know, Craig is a fellow YouTuber. He does Spotty Dog Wargaming, so go check out his channel. He's also done some predictions about this tournament, because he's going to be there. So we should have some good coverage of the tournament. He's got a Fighter Demon Seeker to kill anything that he doesn't want to fight. He's got a tanky general with some bound spells. I always think bound spells are really good because low casting values, and you can just spam them really easily. He's got a BSB, so obviously those two are going to go in his big unit of Kingsguard, which have bodyguard, you know, big stubborn block basically on leadership 10 rerollable. He's got some shooting, he's got some chaff with attack copters, he's got seekers, so he can have a delivery system for his Demon Seeker and Vengeance Seekers. He's also got 3 Hold Guardians, which obviously your objective markers are also quite good at flanking. Anvil of Power to give him some more buffs, and has he got the I don't know if he's got the Thunder one. So yeah, it's a pretty good list. It does a lot of things okay. So he's got a lot of ways to deal with things. So if someone's running monsters, he's got the Demon Seeker. If someone's running a fighter unit, he's got his fighter unit that can vanguard. You know, if people are going to sit back, he can still vanguard up with his big unit. So there's a lot of tools here that he can use, which sometimes means he will struggle with skewed lists. Trying to think of one here. Anything like the Highborn, I think the Highborn Elves with a 3 Sky Sloops would be a bad matchup, because it's got a lot of shooting and it can avoid his fighter units, especially with a level 4 on fire. So, you know, like a skewed list like that would be problematic, but anything else that sort of is a mixed force he can go toe to toe with. I'm sorry, he's predicted me to win my first match, but I'm afraid I think this is going to be a difficult matchup for him, because Stephen's obviously bought 5 units that can fly quite quickly. But saying that, if he can get the matchup right with the Demon Seeker and Vengeance Seekers, because obviously VC have no shooting, they're going to be very good against his monsters. So I would think Craig could have this, as long as he can get those matchups. If not, and they get bogged down by zombies, then I think Stephen's list will take it. It'll be an interesting matchup either way. All these matches have been pretty interesting. There's been none. There's been a few which you can say, yeah, that person's, you know, got a tough matchup. For example, the Sky Sloop list is a bad matchup for Warriors, in my opinion anyway. But certainly this one here, yeah, it could go either way. I'm still going to go VC, because I think they're going to... I don't know. Maybe a draw, actually. We'll go for a draw here. Depends on deployment, I think, this one. This is a big thing about deployment and the movement phase, and whoever controls that will win. So, yes... So, just to recap, the first round, I'm going to VC win. Table 2, I'm going to go for a draw. Sylvan Elves Minor win. Table 3, Empire win. Although I am predicting this to be a very bloody match. I can't imagine there's going to be much models left in that match. It's going to be the one to watch, because it's both 2 armies that want to smash into each other with little magic and little chaff. So it's going to be very interesting. Table 4, I think that Matthew Pell's Warriors will take on that Highborn Elves. Table 5, I think out of all these 6 matches, that's the one that the Warriors list definitely has a disadvantage there. And table 6, I'm going for a draw. But I think it's really good to see that, apart from really what I think table 5, that all of the lists really, you could see them going either way depending on how, if one player plays well and can manipulate the match, will win. And I think that's what's great about Ninth Age is you know, certainly in all of these, you look at them and you can say, well, I think if they do this, then they'll win. But if they can't do that and the opponent managed to do this, then they're going to win. And sort of, that's fantastic because it's sort of down to the players and how well they can play their list and how well they can make the opponent react to them and get them into situations they want to be, as opposed, you know, it's all that manipulation, very much like chess, isn't it? So that's fantastic. Anyway, I'll keep this video short and sweet. I'll be putting on the other predictions soon, including what I'm going to predict is going to happen in my match. Yeah. Hopefully I'll win, but Thicket Star, yeah, I've drawn up a Thicket Star, which if you've seen my battle reports I did lose against. So let's hope that the changes I've made to my list and stuff like that will help me win, but we'll see. Anyhow, right, yeah, so there we go. We'll see you for the next one. Cheers, bye.